GSL.
What's up, guys? It is day one of the round of 8 here in the GSL Code S. Tasis and Artosis are with you as we are going to have 2 fantastic best of 5s.
That is correct, Tasis. The round of 8, it is wild now. We're down to a bracket, and anyone could win from here.
Yeah.
This is a really exciting day of StarCraft.
It's been interesting. We've had a lot of upsets. It's easily the best, highest skill level GSL we've had to date. But our 2 best of 5s, look, I'm really excited to see how this is going to turn out.
Yeah. You know, we have just like ridiculously stacked matchups, say MyuNgSiK versus SOS, and of course Parting versus Biol.
And specifically with MyuNgSiK versus SOS, it's a tough one to call. I feel like I'm supposed to say SOS, but I might be looking very foolish here. MyuNgSiK is a very tricky player.
He's a very good player.
He's very different.
You're going to have a hard time out tricking him as SOS. I think SOS has to...
They're both guys that have very out-there builds, but the 2 builds these guys use or build order styles very different from each other, so this should be a really fascinating matchup. One that we're probably going to learn a lot.
Yes. I thought that was not the end of a sentence.
Oh, no. Sorry.
I was like, wow, are you having a stroke? What's going on in your taste? Just keep talking. But yeah, I think it's actually pretty hard to predict both matches as well. I know that Parting played like a actual god, a literal god, some might say, in the previous round. Just like played so well that we were talking about this guy can absolutely win the season. But he's going up against Biol, who has obviously Hero on his team to help practice. And like Biol is one of the top 2 Zergs in the world right now.
I think a lot of people might be counting Biol out. That would be a mistake, although I personally expect to see Parting do quite well here.
So you're saying that Parting over Biol?
I think so.
What score?
3-1 or 3-2.
I think it's a 3-2 either way.
Okay. You know, Parting just played so well in his group in the round of 16.
He played so well.
It was insane.
It was like scary.
It's I almost don't care who he's against at this point in time. He just looks so good. So here's the round of 8. Total, we have Maru Rain, Curious against Rogue, MyuNgSiK against SOS, and Biol against Party.
That's right. And of course, from today's matches, one of these 4 players will actually be in the finals, perhaps win the whole damn thing. It's pretty exciting, Tasteless, and I think it's really hard to predict both these matches, to be honest. I really do think it's very difficult.
This is pretty sick. I think when you really look at it, no matter how the finals looks, whichever 2 players get there, it should be fantastic.
Yeah, I think on paper here, you look at SOS and Parting as the favorites, but I think Biol, I'm like actually giving that like 50-50, that match. Like I know I said I think Parting has a very good chance of winning this season. I'm standing by that, but I think that this match is like 50-50.
Also, I just want to touch on something that's not happening today, but it's very interesting to be having in the round of 8 is that we have Curious here now.
Yeah.
We've been casting Curious for as long as I can remember.
Yeah.
Curious was there for the very start of StarCraft II. He never got this team. He's playing brilliantly. He actually got into this group first and made it look easy. There's a chance he goes to the round of 4, maybe even the finals. So that's something to really keep your eyes on as well.
It's great. It's been a while for him, so that'd be cool.
Let's take a look at our players playing today.
오늘 안 죽었어요. 한 길 안 다쳤어요.
뛰고 있습니다. 23개 추적자. MyuNgSiK 선수, 제가 MyuNgSiK 선수가 준비를 했고. MyuNgSiK 왼쪽 묶었죠. 여기에 또 들리고 있습니다. 자, 아웃다 여기서 기회.
안녕하세요, 문규리입니다. 자, 드디어 흥미진진한 8강전입니다. 오늘 이 8강까지 올라온 선수분들 모두 결승에 올라갈 자격과 자질이 충분하다는 생각이 드는데요. 자, 오늘 8강 1경기에 나설 2 선수, 자, 역시 검증이 끝났습니다. 김유진 선수와 김명식 선수 먼저 만나보겠습니다. 먼저 김유진 선수, 안녕하세요.
Hello.
네, 자, 오늘 1경기에 나서게 됐습니다. 오랜만에 8강인데 소감 어떠세요?
So it's been a long time since you've been in the round of 8. How do you feel?
살짝 긴장하고
Yes, it has been a long
있었는데
time.
와서 보니까
So,
괜찮은 것
honestly,
같아요.
today I'm a little bit
네,
nervous.
패물이 아니다.
Especially
멋지게
nervous coming to the
증명을
studio, but
하면서
when I
올라오게
arrive here,
됐습니다.
my
오늘
nervousness
경기도 자신 있으세요?
dwindled a little bit. So I'm feeling better now.
김명식 선수랑 붙었을 때 자신이 있었는데
네.
VOD 보니까 잘하시더라고요. 그래서
I felt confident when I found out my opponent was going to be MyuNgSiK. I did watch a lot of
네,
VODs
첫
of him and studied him hard. I think he's better than I expected,
자, 첫
but I'm still
8강
feeling good.
소감부터 들어볼게요.
이번에 처음으로 8강에 올라온 거긴 한데 뭐
So it's my
그렇게
first time
긴장이
being in the
되지는
round of 8
않는 것
of a
같고
GSL.
이번에
But honestly,
기회에
I'm
온
not that
만큼
nervous, actually.
이 기회가 소중한
I
걸
think it's a
알기
great
때문에
opportunity to
열심히 해서
prove
이기도록
myself and go to the higher
노력하겠습니다.
rounds.
네, 김명식
This is
선수
a very
이번에 참
important
기대를
moment for
하고
me, so I'm going to do my
있는데
best to win
준비는
today.
많이 하셨어요?
네, 준비는 이번에 저는 팀 리그도 안 하고 개인 리그 준비만 해서
오.
잘 된
I
것
didn't
같아요.
practice for Pro League actually. My coach
충분히
only let me
해오신 것
practice for the
같은데,
individual
자,
league
오늘
such
이
as
두
this one.
선수 모두
So I had good
최고의
preparation coming into
지략가들이라고 평가를 받는 선수들이죠. 이 지략가들의 대결로 관심을 모았었는데요. 서로에 대한 평가는 어떤지도 들어볼까요? 김유진 선수.
So you guys are both known to have really
김명식 선수에
complex
대해서
strategies.
경기력에 대해서 어떻게 생각하고 계셨어요?
SOS, how are you feeling about the strategies that you've seen MyuNgSiK use
할 수
previously?
없는 처음 보는 빌드를 많이 선보이시더라고요.
오.
I'd say his play style is really unique.
히드라 맞춤으로 돌광으로 뚫기라는 건가 혹은
And-
인상 깊게 많이 봤던 것 같아요.
It was
Oh,
also really
그러면
interesting to see him
같은
play against the
지략가로서
Zerg players and the builds he used.
조금 같이 대결을 하게 됐는데 그래도 혹시 내가 그것까지는 그래도 아직 위다.
SOS is also known to
전략성이나
use a lot of different
경기
strategies
지략가
and
스타일에서 내가
cheeses.
위다 이렇게 생각하시나요?
Do you think you have the advantage coming in here?
딱히 그런 거에 욕심은 없어가지고 그냥 오늘 경기에서 이기기만 하고 싶어요.
네. 자, 김명식 선수는
I'm not sure if
평소에
I'm better
어떻게
strategist
생각하셨는지
than MyuNgSiK,
궁금하네요. 상대의
but I'm
경기
pretty
스타일 어떻게
confident no matter what I
생각하세요?
can win today.
스타일이 우선 서로 공격적이고 전략적이라 까다로운 것도 있고
I think both of us are
모든
very
커리어가
aggressive players.
김유진 선수를 증명해 주시잖아요. 그래서
And
되게
SOS has a
잘하시고
better overall career than me, more
재밌는 게임 할
accomplished
수
career than
있을
me,
것
rather.
같아요.
그럼
So,
혹시 오늘
I think he's got the
경기
upper hand
스코어
coming in here
좀
today.
어떻게 생각하고
So
계신지
it's going
들어보고
to be a tough
싶은데.
match for him. Well, how do you expect the score to be?
스코어는 모르겠는데 제가 이길 수 있을 것 같아요.
자신 있으신 것 같은데.
You know, I don't know about the
자,
score.
두 선수 정말 오늘 어떤 투표전을
I am confident that I can
보여주실지
still take a best
기대가
of five.
되는데요. 오늘 8강전인 만큼 서로에게 한마디씩 나눠보도록 하겠습니다. 먼저 이 첫 8강이
Any
김명식
comments you'd like to make to your
선수가
opponent?
한마디 먼저 해볼까요?
김유진 선수 되게 제가 사실 프로 데뷔전에서 김유진 선수한테 패배했거든요. 그거를 아시는 분이 없을
I
것
lost
같은데
my debut match as a
나름
pro gamer
뭐
against SOS. I doubt that many of you know about
복수를
that.
한다고 생각하고
네.
경기
But
임해서
personally,
복수할 수
I feel that I
있도록
have to get my revenge against SOS. And
보통 그렇게 첫
I'm gonna do that here today.
경기는 굉장히 임팩트가
SOS
강하잖아요.
look like he
본인에게는. 오늘 정말 기대가 됩니다. 자, 김유진 선수 혹시 아셨어요?
제가 잊고
Did you know
있었는데 방금
That you defeated him in his
생각이
debut match?
나더라고요.
He said, actually, I had forgotten about that.
했던 것
But right as he
같은데
mentioned it,
덕분에
I remembered
자신감이
it.
더 붙은 것 같아서 감사하네요.
I think we actually
오히려
played on the map
자신감이
Ohana, if I remember
붙는다.
correctly.
자, 상대가 대신 오늘
And after hearing it said that, he says that you got more confident.
네, 김유진 선수, 김유진
you were
선수에게
Zerg,
한마디
right? He's like, no,
부탁드립니다.
it was pros.
준비는 많이 하셨다고 들었는데 저는 시간보다는
I heard that MyuNgSiK prepared a lot for today's matches.
저도 충분히 올라갈 수 있습니다.
So I really focused in my
자, 이렇게 두 선수
preparation. I'm
모두
still very
자신감을
confident I
드러내고
can win today.
있는데요. 자, 오늘의 1경기 시작하기 전에 두 선수의 데이터 먼저 확인해 보겠습니다.
Tosis. What up? MyuNgSiK versus SOS. This is about as good as a PvP as you can ask for, man.
Yeah, it's really, 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 really good. I'm excited to see like how this one goes. MyuNgSiK is really good. He's really underrated right now. Definitely one of these big upcoming Protosses. But SOS like has such a huge range of play. Like, thing is, normally what he does is like out mind games his opponents, outthinks them, and then gets in their head and kicks their brain and kills them. But like, MyuNgSiK has enough weird different builds as well. I think that's tough. But SOS showed us against Rain last week that he is capable of backing up and playing macro games against one of the best macro PvPers. So it's like, I think SOS has a big enough range that he can take this Tasteless.
I wonder though,
siding with him, but I think that this could, if MyuNgSiK took it, I wouldn't be like, whoa, how'd that happen?
Yeah. I mean, it would not be mind blowing if MyuNgSiK won here. You know, when I look at these two guys, I'm really trying to figure out how the hell did these two prepare against each other, right?
Very tough.
Nobody uses builds like these guys.
Well,
they both do a lot of mind games. They put out a lot of false information. They proxy a lot. They cheese a lot.
Yeah.
I feel like you have no way of knowing what the other guy's going to do. For both of these, they have no way of really knowing what the other player's going to do at the start here. SOS proxies more than MyuNgSiK, but that doesn't mean that MyuNgSiK might not do that here because he knows SOS is going to proxy more.
Look, I think that some of the go-to builds for this matchup between these two, because they are both so hard to predict, I think that fast DT builds are going to be that's a good choice today. I think both of them should be going for at least one fast DT build here. I think that Oracle openings are going to be really smart as well. Like you need very decisive builds that can deal with anything. Also, I think fast expansions might be used here. Especially by SOS. But yeah, I think you have to like
see here.
You have to choose your build and just execute really well in this situation.
I feel like when you look at these two, you really have to check how many one-on-one maps do we have early on. So we're starting out with Overgrowth. Okay, then King Sage on Station.
We have all of them.
Now,
the 2 4-player maps are gone.
and Merry-Go-Round, which by the way you can do a lot of cheeses because it's a 3-player map. There's a lot of weird stuff you can do there. Then Bonnie, then Expedition Lost. I mean, this might be the weirdest PvP we've ever casted.
It could be.
That could be.
Or hell, maybe they just both go blank every game. It's most normal we ever saw.
Seriously, that's totally possible as well. I mean, and I do wonder how much there's going to be switching in what they're doing, what builds they're going for as each game goes on, right? You know, we've seen this a lot last season, especially cheeses in game 1 of a best of 5. I think there's a high chance of that happening here. And one of the best parts about cheesing in a best of 1 is if you win, and you can force your opponent to tweak their builds a little bit, even though they prepared so much.
To be honest, if I had to guess between these two, I think MyuNgSiK probably has every map planned. SOS, I think he has a general idea, but I think that it's much more likely that he will adapt if he sees that MyuNgSiK is playing a certain way. You have to be careful about that because, again, MyuNgSiK may have it planned and he may have wild swings in his strategy choice. So,
you know, what was it? SOS against Hero. Poland?
Katowice.
Katowice, that's right. The double proxy game, right?
Yeah. Like, how many games was that? Like 3 of them?
Yeah, and what's crazy about it is that I mean, that's clearly not something he got to the tournament and said, all right, if I get to the finals, this is what I do. He simply looked at the situation, how each game was going, and did that. And I'm wondering if we could see something here. We've seen SOS say plenty of times he's much better in a best of 5 than a best of 3.
Yeah.
MyuNgSiK has had a lot of time to prepare, though. Little bit of a revenge thing going on here. Yeah. You know, we got MyuNgSiK who lost to SOS in his very first debut as a pro gamer. And it's funny because SOS did not even quite remember that until he said it, and then I thought, oh yeah, that's right. I wonder what MyuNgSiK's mindset is here now. Because this is big. It's not just getting to the round of 4, which obviously is very important, but also to take out someone who's beaten you. You've experienced this, Sartosis. I've experienced this. When you're learning StarCraft and you get beat by a guy and you think, man, that guy was so good, he smashed me, I got to go back and train. And then you have the opportunity to go back and face him in an actual tournament.
Yeah.
And try to get your revenge.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, you are completely right. I was just looking at his recent 10 matches. Stop Bling there. It's like, oh.
Where?
He beat Bling and she finished Spring
Masters. Oh, look at that.
Anyways.
I wonder how Bling's doing. We haven't seen him in a long time.
I haven't seen him in a while. It was just funny to see his name next to like Zest, Rain, Hero, Deer. But you're completely right, Tasteless. Like it can actually be. I think that's why SOS said he feels more confident now because it's like, well, there's probably something in your mind where your first pro match was against me and I killed you. Like
you were probably all hoping.
And the fact that I'm sitting here not reacting, like I don't know, I don't really remember that well.
Yeah.
Like,
I bashed a lot of nerds, my friend.
Yeah. He's like, you were just one of many.
Yeah.
Congrats that you've gotten better, but I mean, look at me, I'm SOS.
You were just one nerd in my thankless journey of climbing the ladder and winning all the tournaments I go to. So let's see how this match actually turns out. The players are now in the lobby here for the map Overgrowth.
Alrighty. How many proxies in the 5 games total?
2 minimum.
1 from each side?
No, I think 2 from SOS.
Ooh, I think MyuNgSiK will do 1 proxy in the series.
All right, I hope he does.
I think that SOS will do 1 proxy in the series. Bam, done.
Well, there's always a chance they proxy each other, which makes for an interesting game as well.
That is always really
That's
interesting.
always a lot of fun to cast.
If if it's parting SOS in the round of 4, man, I guarantee you, man, it's just like they should just both send their probes to the center in battle. Like that's that's how that series should go.
Yeah. And our game is now loaded up. Guys, tell your friends to tune in. MyuNgSiK against SOS on the map Overgrowth as these two battle for one of 4 spots here in the semifinals. Over here in the upper right in the red.
SBENU MyuNgSiK.
And in the bottom left in the blue.
GSL Green Wings SOS.
So, you know, I mentioned earlier that I want to see a lot of fast DT builds here today between these two, and I want to kind of expand on that a little bit.
Yeah, please.
Oh, that is
that's pretty cute.
That's an 11 gate from SOS. So.
Yep, tucked in the back, by the way.
Yeah, definitely going to be opening pretty aggressively here. But anyways, about the quick DT thing that I was talking about, I think in a match like this, that can be really good because it can punish fanciness. It's pretty safe to go for a fast DT overall. Like, there's not much that can actually kill you. And it's like, it can be very decisive. Like, we've even seen, I think MyuNgSiK is actually one of the, wait, no, that was Terminator build. But anyways, there's like gateway pressures that you can put on with DT follow-up. You can go DT into an expand. It's like, I think it's like a really strong choice for 2 players that are very unpredictable against each other.
You know, DTs have always been, since they were released in Brood War, you know, just so you guys know, before Brood War, the DT was actually a special unit that you could only see in single player in certain moments that you couldn't make. And then when Brood War came out and they put it in the game, a lot of people were like, what? People like Artosis were like, no!
Yeah.
And by the way, we're going to have a proxy, so we're going to touch on that in just a second here. But yeah, since they've been in the game, they've always been a pretty safe opener. A little bit less safe in StarCraft II, but if you do it right, you can punish somebody pretty hard, or at least lock them in and take control of the map some way.
Totally. By the way, both players proxying, no big surprise.
All right, here we go.
But I want to go back to that DT thing you said for a moment. When Brood War came out and I started playing, because I didn't start playing Brood War until a little bit
just so you guys know, there was StarCraft, and then there was StarCraft Brood War.
Not everyone switched to Brood War right away.
Yeah, there were actually a lot of people that still played what we call vanilla StarCraft, but Brood War came out like I think a year and a half later, 2 years later, or something.
It took me like I think a couple, like maybe a month or 2 months to actually switch to Brood War.
You know what's funny? It was the same thing for me.
I don't know why either. I was just like,
I think like lurkers pissed me off too much.
Well, I was so cognizant of DTs as a Terran player. It actually took me like 2 weeks to lose the DTs because I just got turret every game. I was just like, nope. Not dealing with that.
You had to face with that problem that you might have gotten the turret too early.
Yeah.
And so then the guy just takes the whole map. So we have 2 guys proxy gating each other.
This is
SOS's proxy gate is starting before, well, actually finished before MyuNgSiK's did, which is pretty important here.
It's like, this looks really good for SOS because his Oracle is going to get there before there's even energy for a Nexus cannon. But at the same time, like, one of the things he gave up for that is he doesn't have a mothership core. So the Oracle, the counter Oracle could do a lot of damage, but this is really scary. Look at this. He's going to get a lot of probes if he might use this.
Yeah, this is really nice. Mothership core also out of position, by the way. It was checking for proxies. A Nexus cannon could have made this very, been deflected this very easily, but unfortunately, it's now 7 kills. The Oracle is taken out. Whoa, the cancels are real.
Yeah, that was a lot of probes he lost, man. That is tough. So now it just comes down to how well does SOS deflect this?
Well, I think he's going to get it without too much difficulty. He's got 2 stalkers.
They're not in position, though.
Oh, no, they
you
are
might
not.
Think it's... Well, he doesn't know exactly what tech
the thing is, he should know he's proxied. I mean, by the lateness of everything inside the main, maybe he didn't actually factor that in. So we already have about 4 kills now. Well, I guess it's going to be a fairly even trade this game.
Well, that
with the
actually,
exception of the Oracle actually surviving here.
Yeah, that went a lot better for MyuNgSiK.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot better. He got 2 more probes.
Well, hold on. We have another Oracle coming up over here. Now, this should not be... Well, actually, what would the energy be on the mothership?
Oh,
right?
it's way too
It's
low.
way too low, right? Yeah. So
he just has to use stalkers. Okay, well, this is
so
this
now
is down and dirty.
This is back over to SOS's favor just slightly now. Or no, you know what? Look at that. 18 probes to 17. SOS is 1 probe down.
Well, SOS is the one making a Phoenix. That's an important unit in this situation, for sure.
It's a weird situation to be in, right? Because nobody can really expand right now. I'm not sure if each player got to really factor in how many probes was killed on each side, you know, and stuff like this is going on. The Oracle does kill stuff very quickly. And now we have round number 2 here from MyuNgSiK as he dives in and once again keeps that Oracle alive. 10 HP is still there.
Wow. Really well done. Of course, oh, this is brilliant right here. SOS is going to follow it to make sure that his Phoenix finds it. And so, of course, he's going to have to dive back in with it. He knows what's going on. He knows there's a Phoenix.
And so this is immediately killed off. So good handling so far here by SOS. We have the DT tech starting here from MyuNgSiK. What was just canceled there?
A gateway.
That was a gateway, okay.
Yeah,
and
so I like it. I like this follow-up that he's just like, okay, I'm going to make units in a Dark Templar, and we'll see how you do. The odds of an Oracle sitting at home right now are not all that high, even though it is sitting at home right now. Like, you look at this, you're like, well, he's wanting to harass me with this, so... And he scouts.
Beautiful.
Wow. Very important moment right there.
Well, we have SOS going for DTs of his own, but we don't have any detection just yet here. Now, he does have that 1 Oracle, but that is not, you know, the kind of detection you need against DTs. That's sort of, that's like having a scan, basically.
Something like that.
Something like that. So it's, you know, quite different from having an actual observer there. Because, you know, with DTs, you got to remember, guys, it's not just that you can get in there and get kills because they don't have detection. If they do have detection, you can stay outside their base.
Yeah.
You can wait for them to leave and run back into the main. You can stop probes from expanding. It's tough to catch a DT when the player's good at moving it around.
Absolutely. Definitely going to be a useful unit, and especially in like low econ situations. I guess the econ has come back now, but I like the idea that both of them went for Dark Templars here. I think it's like really, really smart. But one thing I do want to mention is that MyuNgSiK was the first guy to figure out that, like, okay, we aren't going to kill each other. So he made this Nexus.
Yes.
And that's pretty important that his Nexus is a bit quicker.
Now, SOS is still getting his Nexus, but we don't have... By the way, I'm sorry, is there... Well, never mind. Gorgeous force fields there. Completely blocking the DTs out.
Yeah, buying
that is one of the reasons why you see the buildings for Protoss Pro set up like that, is so that they can, with minimal force fields, pretty much lock out.
Yeah.
Whether it's like DTs or even like Zealots that are coming in.
Zerglings, anything like,
yeah.
You know, all that building placement, definitely important. We do have Blink for SOS right now, so that's pretty cool. That's allowing him to have a bit of map control here and walk around and try to figure things out. The thing is, there's not a whole lot for him to actually do with that at all. Like, what do you do with some Blink Stalkers right now? You can't kill each other. So
the DTs have gone back home. You got to be really careful with how many DTs you're making in this build as well. You don't want to overdo it, because if the DTs are not doing damage, either positionally by stopping them from leaving their base or killing probes, you're losing money.
Yeah.
That's why you never see somebody make like 20 DTs and attack into an army with it. It's actually not good.
I've seen In Control do that, but other than that, yeah, no, I haven't. Definitely right. Not even joking, too. I've actually...
There was one match long ago that Anytime did some weird 3-gate DT build against a Zerg player who did a fast expand, and it was like... It's not really...
They do one-shot
supposed to. Yeah. It was actually really funny, and the guy just didn't have the Sunken Colony up, so they just got in there and actually got a bunch of kills, and then it was never used again. It was sort of like a weird gimmick build where if they didn't account for this one thing, then you'll lose.
Well, I do enjoy games like that. One-use builds are always really interesting.
Yeah.
By the way, again, better assessment by MyuNgSiK as to the state of the game. getting his Forge just slightly quicker. He got his Nexus slightly quicker, his Forge slightly quicker.
Yeah, he's in the lead here. He's looking good.
Yeah, he's doing a great job.
The Blink Harass is great, though, here from SOS. He's using those DTs just to clean up the remaining Stargate here.
Yeah. Not the most useful thing, but hey, he's got to get it eventually.
It's something. Keep him active.
You don't want him getting that free fleet beacon.
Now, between the Oracle and the Stalkers, SOS has done a pretty good job. The probe count is in the lead right now for SOS, but MyuNgSiK is teching ahead.
Certainly is. We do have an extra Immortal being made by SOS, yet no Colossus yet. Okay, he starts his Thermal Lance. So, with that starting up, doesn't look like he's going to do any sort of all-in or anything like that. But he is getting charged, so I don't think anyone's going to really be able to kill each other for quite some time here. There will be a Colossus advantage, so there could come a time where SOS tries to take a third base, and MyuNgSiK could possibly cancel it because he'll have Colossus with Thermal Lance and more.
Did you see how sneaky that was? He sent the hallucinated Phoenix over there in the hope that the Stalkers would move out of position so he might be able to jump into the front. But MyuNgSiK was pretty perceptive. He noticed that there wasn't any damage taken there. Didn't overreact.
A little Oracle that could.
That Oracle is a badass.
Yeah.
So MyuNgSiK now taking his third base ahead of SOS. The probe count right now, it's 44 to 47. It looks like, at least for the time being, the players are not going to be making any more probes.
Yeah, probably
This seems to be the magic number right now for these two. Again, this game started out a bit of a slugfest here. They both proxied each other. Their Oracles got in and did a lot of damage on both sides. So, a lot of times this is, even though this looks like a normal PvP now, it doesn't feel like a normal one for either of these guys since they got here in a much different path.
Wow, and look at this. Really aggressive play there by SOS. MyuNgSiK actually, kind of wisely retreating, but he had a couple force fields there. He could have actually blocked out the Colossus a little bit late. But anyways, I mean, that's some pretty aggressive posturing by SOS for sure.
Well, he dived right in there, hoping to get a kill or two there.
Really liked the move with the Archon morphing, too. He's like, hey, why don't you shoot that?
Yeah, he's trying to draw him right in.
It was like a floating barracks or something.
MyuNgSiK canceled the third base. He's canceled it. He's going to use that extra money to have a huge influx of units to come in here. But that means MyuNgSiK has to do a lot of damage and do it now.
Yeah, that was a sneaky move right there, Tasis. But we do have the Oracle counter right here. A great position he finds for it. And looks like
if this attack does not work for MyuNgSiK, he is in a lot of trouble. The Zelts are coming in at a very good angle. One Colossus goes down. And this is such a gorgeous arc rider. MyuNgSiK just threw that game. He totally bungled that. Wow. This game could have gone on for longer. Yeah. SOS kept his cool, made the right decisions throughout that. MyuNgSiK was ahead for most of that, and then he panicked.
Yeah,
he said, you know what, I can end this? That was unnecessary. A bad play by MyuNgSiK back there at the last second. SOS in control so far in this best of 5.
Yeah, the whole Nexus cancel, very interesting stuff. But
yeah.
Was there units attacking? He meant to just cancel it, right? For the extra minerals?
Well, he morphed the Archon with the DT, so I don't know what else would have been attacking that.
Yeah, I don't know.
The Oracle went into the main, so yeah, I think there was nothing else attacking that. So,
well, SOS with that quick charge upgrade really helping out there with that surround. So that was
Coach coming in here seeming almost like it's just a maintenance checkup, like how you feeling? Do you want a water or a coffee or something? Yeah. Not one where they seem to be going over strats too much. MyuNgSiK, that's got to be frustrating because, okay, hold up. Let's go to the start of that game. Like I was saying, it looked like a normal game in the mid game, but they both took a lot of blows. MyuNgSiK might have decided he was actually behind when he was in fact ahead.
Oh, that's interesting because he was ahead. The thing is, SOS came back via the Oracles and Blink Stalkers. He actually ended up killing 7 more probes than MyuNgSiK or so, something like that.
Yeah, but MyuNgSiK he had the higher Colossus count. Am I right?
Yeah, he did. He was one Colossus.
There was no need for MyuNgSiK to attack there, but MyuNgSiK thought, oh my gosh, if I don't attack right now, this game could fall apart.
What I would have really liked to see there, especially after the recall, is let your third Nexus finish, walk around the right side of SOS's third, because that's a natural choke that SOS can't walk through with one less Colossus. And I believe that the travel distance wasn't enough that he would have been equal. I think there would have been a time
You're saying
where...
going where the third base was?
Yeah, on the other side.
But here's the thing, if he does that, then it's just 2 base versus 2 base.
Yeah, I'm saying don't cancel the Nexus out. If you poke around over there,
okay, I agree with that.
Minimum, MyuNgSiK takes, or rather,
the thing
takes a kind of bad engagement.
That might have been better, but the reason why he didn't do that is because if he cancels at his third, he has to attack into the second. He has to actually go in for the kill.
Of course, yeah.
Well, map number 2 is going to be King Sejong Station. Right now, MyuNgSiK and SOS both playing very well, but MyuNgSiK, the last about minute and a half there, panicked and decided to put it all on black, bet everything on black, and it was a bad gamble.
Yeah. Well, I like the decisiveness. Game was very scrappy from the get-go, and that's kind of what you would expect from these guys.
And we've already had them both prox each other once. Let's see how many more we got in store here with these two very crazy Protoss players duking it out in a best of 5 to get to that coveted round of 4 position here in the GSL.
No proxy gates yet, Tasteless.
Bottom right in the red.
SBENU MyuNgSiK.
So far, we're both
so far the game's normal.
Proxy gate counts.
So far, it's a standard PvP in the first 40 seconds.
I'd say it's almost abnormal for SOS. No proxy yet.
Pylons in the main. In the upper left in the blue, he is.
GNL Green Wings SOS.
I would love to see SOS against like Parting or something the next round. That would be.
Oh, that would be so nice. SOS versus Parting.
To just have to play like Zealot micro maps. The sickest counter build is just blindly build 2 gates in your own base and make Zealots. his Zealot walks up and you have 2 Zealots.
Protoss pride till I die. Well, you might as well be a caster, man. That's what all the Protoss players that were formed, they all became casters. Protoss taught me public speaking. Well, I think you couldn't ask for better Protoss players here today.
Certainly not. These guys are absolutely fantastic.
But you are right. I would like to see Parting versus SOS in the round of 4.
That'd be sick. SOS, by the way, delayed second gas. Hasn't made it yet. There are, of course, builds like that. That's fine for him to do. Wouldn't be surprised if he goes like 2 gate here. SOS very oftentimes likes to go 2 gates against his opponents, just kind of throws him off, makes him prepare for more. So, see if he does that.
Yeah, we're going to have to wait and see when the cores finish what they're going to do. We'll see if there's any pylons thrown up outside the base. I don't think it's going to happen this game.
Yeah, I don't think either of them are actually proxying tech this game. All right, so same gate for MyuNgSiK. Not too surprised there. Just like, and there it is for SOS as well.
Mirror build so far. And by the way, the second gate really doesn't tell you much of anything.
No, it doesn't.
You don't even have to use it.
It just adds like...
It just continues
like
to add ambiguity.
Another thing that can kill you. It's like, hey, another thing can kill you now.
It could be used for defense. It could be used for offense. It could be not used at all.
Absolutely.
And so if you really don't want your opponent to know when they scout you the space of the game, you'll see that second gateway in a PvP.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, it's just like almost a standard mind game. Something that you just do very, very often. Well, Twilight going down immediately for SOS upon that probe exiting his base. We'll see if he's going to go directly into Blink or if he'll go for DT. Meanwhile, MyuNgSiK going to throw down a Stargate.
Okay, well, when you look at this at this point of the game, nobody has a clear advantage. This is going to still turn into anything here.
Absolutely. Like, for instance, if SOS goes just straight Blink, we could see MyuNgSiK, for instance, go like Oracle into Blink, which does completely fine against those Blink builds. Yeah, and it is going to be a Blink build here from SOS.
Let's see what comes from MyuNgSiK, presumably an Oracle, but, I mean, there's so many things you can do in PvP.
Oh, man, if you go Phoenix in a situation like this, they sure as hell better have gone Oracle.
We've seen very rarely some blind countering. Yeah. There's some direct countering where one guy goes Phoenix, and that is something that you can use to punish an Oracle. Yeah. Now he's going to send out an Oracle, a hallucinated Oracle, I should add, of his own here. which is going to come down there and actually get to the base a little bit after MyuNgSiK's Oracle leaves.
All right, well, it's going to get right in here and scout. MyuNgSiK trying to prevent it from scouting, because he wants right now for SOS to do something like make a robo, which we do see him doing. But he will see that it's a Stargate. So from here, in a situation like this, you basically as SOS have to make a Nexus. There's not like a whole lot of wiggle room on your build. You've already started the robo. You can't really do a blink all in against this. It's not very likely to work. So you don't want to cancel the robo. It's like
no.
You're going to need that soon anyways.
I think there's very few moments. I actually can't even think of one right now in StarCraft 2 1-on-1 where you'd want to cancel the robo PvP.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think of one. Maybe there's a situation you could manufacture that we haven't casted ever, but generally speaking, that's not something you go back on, since the robo is sort of the backbone for mid-game and late-game tech.
Yeah.
Colossus, Observer, Immortal, all very good units, guys. And don't forget about Mr. Warp Prism over there, too.
Mr. Warp Prism is pretty important as well. Well, well, it looks like Blink is done here for SOS. So he's going to start poking into this Nexus. I like how he's only poking with a few here. The double Oracle actually going to come in and get as many kills as they possibly can.
We haven't seen this in a little while, but you can do it, since 2 Oracles will one-shot a probe. And you can kill a probe at an insane rate. Kill probes at insane rates.
Yeah. Now that he's lost both those,
it was only 6 kills though. That's
that wasn't
quite worth it. Yeah.
It wasn't good enough.
I'm wondering how often actually MyuNgSiK's done that strat, because you should have known the moment you got in there that you were not going to get that many kills when there were. I believe there were 3 stalkers there.
I think there was 4 in a sentry.
4 in a sentry. Okay.
Well, the thing is, no one ever really leaves that much at home while poking with 3 stalkers. Like
True.
That's actually something that I will add into my Blink builds against Oracle Blink. Like exactly what SOS did there. He dealt with it like fantastically, and I think MyuNgSiK against like more normal responses gets a lot more kills there, like maybe 10 or something. You know
what I think MyuNgSiK feels like? Back in my competitive days, I'm sure some of you guys are familiar with the early StarCraft 2 days, but back before StarCraft 2, I used to play against a guy named Noni. He's a great American Protoss player. And I used to be able to beat him, and I used to be, or at least go even with him. But there came a point in time in his PvP where he just always had an answer for everything. He was always like 10 to 20% ahead of me.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what MyuNgSiK must feel like in this game, where he's like, MyuNgSiK's like trying all these strats and stuff, but SOS just always seems to have an answer. He's always got stalkers in the right spot. He's always got, a few probes ahead. The harass is a little bit better.
That's funny, because in the previous game, MyuNgSiK kind of had the edge in the early game in every way, but
he sort of freaked out through it.
Everything SOS has done this game has been 100% spot on, like perfect play.
Yeah.
Quicker forge, the perfect Nexus timing, perfect pressure with the 3 stalkers. He actually put a lot of damage on that Nexus, kind of scared MyuNgSiK perhaps into using those 2 Oracles like that. Now that you kill 2 Oracles in this situation, this is where you have to tech up into other things. He can't be buying more Oracles, so SOS has to be feeling like much more at ease that these Oracles just didn't get the value that they needed.
It's also a comfortable position for SOS in the sense that he hasn't had to do much.
Yeah.
It's just MyuNgSiK sort of throwing stuff at him and SOS swatting it away.
Totally.
Totes my goats.
Totes my goats, man. Couldn't have said it better myself, Tasteless.
Tosis Magosis.
Tosis Magosis.
Yeah.
I'm like, tasteless ma faceless.
Well, we have the 3rd base now coming down here. It's not quite synced up, but close enough. It's not still ahead for SOS, but MyuNgSiK he's playing from behind, but you can do that and come back. Just takes 1 or 2 engagements that go favorably for you.
More stalkers for SOS here.
Observer snipe, nicely done there by SOS. Probably more important to get the Observer.
Yeah.
In that moment. Whenever you
it's
can
more
kill
gas
off
than a stalker, and it's robo build time. So.
Yeah, exactly. And whenever you can get anything that's from the robo, problem is that they normally have just 1 robo at the start of the game. Yeah. In fact, they basically always have 1 robo. So if you take out that Robo early on,
Yeah.
like we see the second one coming here now, but this is like after they have 3 gates.
Yeah.
If you take out any Robo unit, or 3 bases, excuse me, if you take any Robo unit early on, they have to either not make an Immortal, not make an Observer, not make a Colossus to remake whatever they got, if they choose to remake that. So it really messes up the Protoss' army composition.
Yeah.
And even when you have 2 out, it's the same thing. If you kill off all the Robo units, it's sort of like in a TVT when the Terran loses all the tanks.
Yeah, it's a good way to describe it. I want to mention here, because it is 2 Robo against SOS going for Templar Archives. So this is what this game has become now, is SOS will have a window where he can go down and kill the 3rd base or possibly win the game. And then after that, MyuNgSiK is way ahead because he has more Colossus. And it looks like SOS, he just scouted that Sanger Robo, he sees it, and this is like he has to move out right now. You cannot let your opponent have double Robo when you don't, because when you both max out, he'll just have more Colossus. And more laser beams will hit your stuff, and your stuff will die.
More laser beams,
yeah.
Indeed. Well, he's going to go ahead and push down here now. So really, it's up to MyuNgSiK to have very good positioning here. This is not the easiest map to have the good positioning on. Also, if a Warp Prism were to come into play, and we see one being made here by SOS, that's really going to cause a lot of problems.
Yeah.
If he can bring that into the main and start warping Zealots in. Protoss army is basically not nimble when it comes to harass.
Yeah.
You cannot be everywhere at once as Protoss and still survive a big attack on like your 2nd base or your 3rd base. So, well, this is going to be a tough one for MyuNgSiK for sure.
It is, but he is about to have 6 Colossus against 3. So if he micros correctly and doesn't overcommit, like he may have to give up his 3rd base. Yeah, that is a possibility here.
You might be right. Also, I think that Warp Prism that was made, it's out now. It should be moving across the map. It was made a little bit too late.
It was made slightly late. I definitely agree with that. Like, the thing is, he is losing any timing that he has, because we are actually just about to have 6 Colossus against 3, and that is a gigantic difference. As long as MyuNgSiK does not overcommit, he needs a backup into chokes and stuff right now. Has to be very careful about this.
Okay, he's coming up now. And, you know, he's seeing that 5 Colossus, there's actually a 6th one tucked up that's going to catch up with the rest of this group.
Here goes the Prism, though.
Ground Weapons level 2 is about to finish here for MyuNgSiK as well. But this is the real story. Yes. How much of the army will be drawn out here of MyuNgSiK? Well, can he handle this with just Zealots at home? The answer right now is definitely no.
Yeah, he's warping in some more, and he does have the 2nd cannon, some great stop position there on those probes.
If
he can deal with that with Warpins Tasteless, then he's going to take the game.
There should have been, I don't know if there were chrono boosts being used back there on the army, excuse me, on the gateways of SOS, but we didn't see more Zealots come out during that fight. And now it looks like he's going to try to move in here, but I don't see this working. Right now, the late game unit comp from MyuNgSiK just seems to be better than that of SOS.
Absolutely. Oh, a feedback going down in that mothership core.
Very nicely done.
Like, Time Warp is the most important thing in a PvP engagement.
MyuNgSiK, more like MyuNgSiK. Wow. So he's going to keep attacking forward here. There's a really large number of Colossi, but superior Archon numbers here for SOS. SOS starting to push in here. The 2 Immortals, by the way, being shift-clicked on the Colossus, and I don't understand StarCraft II anymore as SOS just runs over MyuNgSiK's army. Perhaps a situation where he shouldn't have crossed that gap there. Should have stayed back and defended.
Exactly. It's exactly like you were saying before. It's kind of like in TVT, you lose your siege tanks, you're dead.
Yeah.
It's like TVT. Like, it's like he was going mech in PvP, and SOS was going bio tank, right?
Yeah.
And MyuNgSiK, he needed back up into a choke.
Needed to stay safe.
Basically, with 2 Robo play, you basically have to max out to win.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't do it below
It was odd. He pushed that army out.
Yeah. Then he spread, and SOS is like, okay.
You don't chase that. Those are Zealots with speed that can actually swarm around, get better angles, which, by the way, allow your Immortals to come forward more easily. If you notice the center of MyuNgSiK's army, the back facing of that was that giant cavity, that giant pit. So, I mean, he was literally on the edge of a cliff. He could not, without having to rotate and, Colossi move. I mean, they're very clunky. They're going to take a lot of hits. So, that game might have been different if MyuNgSiK had simply stayed in a defensive position.
Yeah, you have to. Like, he let SOS have a spread out engagement when he was going mass Colossus. That was the strategy for MyuNgSiK, mass Colossus. If he makes SOS attack him into a choke, SOS never wins that ever in a million years against that many Colossus.
It kind of a weird moment. Remember when we saw the Mothership Core get hit by the feedback from the Templar?
I think he got cocky then.
We both, what is the sound we made? We went, whoa! I think MyuNgSiK did the same thing in his booth and was like, I am so good. I am going for this now. He doesn't have time warp.
I tell you.
But that was a lapse in judgment. I mean, great, you've got the Mothership Core. All you have to do, guys, in that situation as MyuNgSiK is keep making Colossus and stay back. Yeah, that's it. That's it.
If he does, you know, stay back in a more defensive manner, his overwhelming Colossus count as they both max out, all those other units become basically roaches, where it's like, he basically, like, that was like an anti-timing attack. Like, he should have just sat back. That's it. Like, he wasn't gonna even lose the third. Like, he would lose some probes. He'd take like little bits of damage, but his unit comp overall would be so much stronger if he just chilled for a little bit longer.
So we've had 2 games so far. Game 1, MyuNgSiK was ahead and freaked out, decided that he was actually losing the game, canceled his third base despite the fact he had a lead. SOS had solid defense, absorbed the attack beautifully, and then was obviously up in a base. So no way MyuNgSiK can win from there. Game 2, MyuNgSiK was actually also ahead. If we were going to go into late game, all he had to do was turtle and keep a defensive position, and the odds of you know, the army of SOS actually getting in there and doing a lot of damage, very low. It's hard when your player has a large number of Colossi and they're forked out perfectly.
Yeah.
How will you get in there? The splash damage is too good.
Never.
2 volleys from each of those Colossi.
Especially when he's microing back.
Yeah,
it's like, what, you're going to bleed into that all day with charge zealots? Okay.
Yeah. But MyuNgSiK, again, kind of freaks out and moves out of his base. And, you know, when you have a player like SOS who has that many zealots and gets that nice of a surround, with the 3 Immortals, he just shoved in there right in the middle of that.
They killed
boom,
everything
boom,
at the end.
boom. Yeah, takes out all the Colossi. By the way, interestingly enough, for the few-minute break that we give the players, if they request it, it's actually SOS.
SOS requesting it?
Yeah.
He probably wants to chill because I think he can look at both those games and be like, I could have lost both those, you know? And I think it's probably good for him to just kind of level his head out and think about the next game. Yeah. I mean, obviously, MyuNgSiK should be doing something like that as well, but...
I mean, SOS is playing well, but it's not exactly like he's winning with his own merit here.
Well, I think...
MyuNgSiK is sort of
I think that's exactly
fumbling.
how he is. Like, he's winning with his experience. He's just like, well, I'm just cool and collected here. So even if I'm behind, I'm going to keep playing well and just wait for you.
Even if my build's not proper, I know how to not bungle a game, and I know how to not bungle an engagement, and I know how to read a situation where I'm, you know, a lesser Protoss player, by the way, like SOS, would have just attacked in there way sooner and lost his army, and we would have gone to the next game. But he's looking at this, he's saying,
time was running out. Like, he was, when the Warp Prism didn't work, he was like, uh-oh, like, this is tough.
And then SOS looks at the front of MyuNgSiK's third base and thinks, shit, I can't get in there. I don't know what, I guess I just got to stay out here and try to figure something out.
Yeah.
And you know what? MyuNgSiK figured it out for SOS. SOS just moved out. MyuNgSiK just moved out. SOS ate that army. Anyways, we're going to game number 3 here. MyuNgSiK down 2 games. He has to win every game from here if he wants to move on to the round of 4. Speaking of whom, in the upper right, in the red,
SBENU MyuNgSiK.
it's the only time in a cast I've ever said whom. I don't even know if that's the correct usage of whom.
Thou start correct.
In the upper left, in the blue,
GNL Green Wings SOS.
All right. Could close this out, Tasteless, very quickly. But the thing is, MyuNgSiK is playing very, very well. Like, strategically, he's making a lot of great calls.
Problem is, man, he can't close it.
Yeah, he can't. It's but I think he's playing quite well. I mean, I'm very happy to see MyuNgSiK continuing to perform on a very, very high level. This guy is not going anywhere. He is definitely a Protoss of the future. I mean, it's great that he's even in the round of 8 because that means he's auto-seeded into next season.
Yeah, that's a good point. We still got one more season this year at GSL Code S.
By the way, that is an 11 gate from MyuNgSiK. So we'll see what he wants to do with that. There's a lot of things you can do.
Sub today.
That's right, guys.
That's right.
Sub to the GSL.
We, I believe we're back on low now.
Yeah,
for quality.
For sure.
Once you guys know that was all Artosis' idea. That was
the way I've been getting
I was
tweets,
begging
I think they already know Tasteless.
Yeah, I was begging Artosis not to put it on low, and he was like, I don't care, Tasteless. So,
oh, man.
But we do appreciate when you guys do support GSL Code S.
That's right. It's our jobs.
Yeah, and it's a good show.
Yeah.
So we have the cybernetic scores coming here now.
You're so funny. I love it. I love you, Tasteless.
I love you too, Artosis. And you, viewer at home, I love you too.
Yeah.
Love is all around.
That's right. I especially love the ones that don't tweet angrily at me about various things.
By the way, guys, we also built the desks that we're at and programmed the game. You're seeing everything here has to do with us. So. No, but I don't know. I hope MyuNgSiK can come back here. I really do not want to have a 3-0.
He went 11 gate into Stargate, so this could be Phoenix or Oracle. Both are like really cool. I think it's going to be Oracle. That's like just kind of a 11 gate Phoenix builds aren't that common normally on really big maps. But MyuNgSiK is a very good Phoenix user as well. I would love to see it just because it's one of my favorite builds. But oh yeah, there it is. I'm actually like really kind of stoked about that. 11 gate Phoenix is like if you really understand the branches of it and you have very good map awareness.
You use this build a lot.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's definitely one of my favorites. Like Zest really popularized it like way back, like beginning of last year or so. But it's like it's a really cool build. You can get a lot of probe kills with it. You get a lot of map control. It's you know. Phoenixes, when you get 3 to 5 Phoenixes, it's like very dangerous the way that you can, you know, change the way a battle goes, lifting up a few key units. So now he sees that that's real. He's like, oh wait a minute, oh god.
You know, it would actually be pretty interesting if there's a way to make it so that the Phoenixes wouldn't attack automatically, or you could like set up to that, so you could. It would be harder to show if there was a hallucination or a... You have to look at the damage put on by the sentry. That's when it gets really hard. Yeah, you got to really pay attention then. But yeah, in this type of situation, and he's only made sentries, so this actually makes the Phoenixes even better. But in this type of situation, a lot of times as SOS, you got to be careful. If your opponent continually makes Phoenixes, you don't want to even try to mine or make probes out of that natural Nexus. Yeah, you just leave it there, like it's a placeholder Nexus. Yeah, he stopped it too, so it's totally fine for him to mine from it. I get my second Nexus for Chrono Boost. I use it as part of my wallet and my natural. What I do now is I make it in my main next to my other Nexus. I love that. Yeah. I would love if that was a real strategy. But, all right, he is adding in some more after this, after his own Nexus. Yeah, this game, I think it'll probably go pretty normal. You know, we see SOS getting the Forge very quickly, realizing someone with Phoenixes and a Nexus can't possibly kill him. That's impossible. And getting, of course, the Twilight, you probably should just get Blink to help deal with this. Let's see how MyuNgSiK handles the later part of this game. I don't think there's going to be too much going wrong for him from here. It's really when we get to the third base part that MyuNgSiK seems to be out of his comfort zone against SOS. And, you know, on this map, the third base can be pretty tough to actually hold on to. Like, there's a lot of surface area out there, so that can be a little bit tricky. So, don't believe they can attack each other for a little bit here. Yeah. Let's see how many Stalkers. Okay, he's only made 4 Stalkers, and he's okay. I love this hallucination. Yeah, gosh. How often do we get the opportunity to see hallucinated Stalkers in a match? Not very often, but something I wanted to bring up is sometimes when you go Phoenixes, what'll happen is your opponent will make a Blink Stalkers, and then you make a bunch of Immortals, and then go Colossus, and you just have a better late game composition. Here it almost seems like he's trying to trick him into thinking that he's making a lot of
stalkers.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to see like where that mind game brings SOS, like what exactly he wants to do with that trick.
Here's the thing, Artosis. He's a brainiac. Brainiac. That's for sure.
And he's
thinking like he's never thought before. The mind games are crazy. I mean, how often you fly by and think, I'm not sure if those are real stalkers.
Yeah,
like,
really. Like, wow, they didn't do
it's
much
like, whoa,
damage.
slow down, Deep Blue. Like, this is crazy, man.
Slow down, Deep Blue. Deep Blue is literally the thing that wouldn't do mind games.
Yeah, maybe that's not the best joke. Well,
like, whoa there, Kasparov. Like, come on.
nah, we can think of a better one than that, actually.
Well, didn't he use mind games to defeat Deep Blue?
But he lost to Deep Blue.
But he also beat it.
Well, yeah,
Like,
but
they
he
played
lost
a
the
bunch of
series. MyuNgSiK might win a game off SOS, but actually SOS is like proven to be the better player.
Well, in Go, the computers can't beat pros.
Oh, is that true?
Yeah, I was actually talking to your brother a lot about Go.
Yeah,
He
my
was
brother's
telling me
been
all
getting into
about
that.
it. Yeah, well, I was sitting next to him at Here's the Dorm, so he actually like talked to me a lot about it and said that like basically computers in Go can't even beat like mid-level players that are like just
that's
good.
sick.
Like it's just
So that means Go's as
too
good
much
as
intuition
StarCraft
or something. Well, it definitely doesn't mean that because Go is not as good as StarCraft.
That's
but
true.
I'm sure it's a very good game.
Well, the graphics in Go are for sure not as good, man.
It looks like real life to me when I play it. It's just not exciting graphics.
Do you know I still get tweets to this day of people that don't know that Day9 is my brother?
Yeah, he's your big brother, right?
He's my little brother. Although he's physically bigger than me, and he has more Twitter followers, so I guess he's got that going on for him. But yeah, man, to this day, people are like, I just thought you guys had the same last name and both cast at StarCraft.
And look alike.
And look alike, yeah. Well, +1 weapons upgrades have been finished here.
I want to tell you.
MyuNgSiK, once again, not in a bad spot here. After, we've gone into what's soon to be the 3-base part of the game.
I was going to say that I was always jealous of Day9 being your brother, but the truth is, I'm jealous of you being Day9's brother, Tasteless.
Seriously, I'm always amazed when people say this. Like these are people that watch GSL and watch, the Daily or Mostly Walking or the shows that he's doing, and I'm like, really?
Well,
third base.
It's hard to believe that that could happen. The two greatest StarCraft
serious
casters are brothers. What?
Yeah. That's some good DNA right there.
Yeah.
So let's see now how MyuNgSiK handles this game from here. This game, started off great builds, good handling of everything. Now is the question, is MyuNgSiK going to be able to conquer today, after 2 games, is going to be able to conquer what he was unable to do before?
I like MyuNgSiK's units here better overall. Like, if you look at the actual armies that they have, he has 1 more Colossus right now, and
then he wants to pick up these Immortals.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how you do it.
You pick up a couple of Immortals here, man. That's going to really change the battle. But he's not microing at all.
Yeah, he needs to get that Colossus over there pulled back.
Looks like SOS just wants to go to the round of 4.
Well, hold up. If he can micro that Colossus better, he's got 1 in there, but he needs to get some more units coming down here. I guess SOS just engages better.
Yeah, like...
If you notice, I don't believe that Phoenix has picked up all the Immortals.
No, he picked up 1.
You actually want to pick up all of them. Well, you know what? Maybe that was not the reason why that battle was lost. Maybe I should take that back.
Yeah, well, I think he shouldn't have been that far out for that. Like, I think he's like over eager to engage.
Also, his Colossi were clumped up in a tripod.
His Zealots just attacked his Colossus and almost killed it. That just happened. His Colossus went down to 14 health from the Zealots attacking it. Oh my god. Probably won't be a game changer. It was just shields that he took off, I think. But anyways.
Still, I mean, that's not how you want to go out in your 3rd game. And
certainly not.
You're down 0-2. It's like, well, the first game I was killing myself by attacking out too soon, and then the last game I was killing myself by just actually attacking my own units. So SOS has these Stalkers a little bit out here in the front, see if they can snipe anything
SOS
and
did
blink
not
away.
have Thermal Lance during that battle.
What?
Yeah. And MyuNgSiK did not even try to pull out of the Time Warp. It's, yeah, I'm a little bit confused about that. But anyways, we'll see what he can do here. He's down in that Colossus count right now by 1, but we don't really see SOS making Colossus. We see a lot of money being put into Archon Zealot here, so he might be looking at this as a scrappy situation with how these third bases kind of are placed. They both are just trying to like basically get as many units as quickly as possible, because if you're being too greedy, like if you went second Robo, your opponent's just going to run over your third.
Well, the
DT Shrine start, cancel. Like instant on SOS there.
He's like, oh crap, I need more gas.
He's like, oh, I guess I'll go DTs. He's like, oh wait, no.
Never mind.
Just never mind.
All right. Now, is MyuNgSiK, should he be out here? That's what I'm not entirely sure about. By the way, these guys both need to spread out their Colossi. Or actually just SOS. He's got the tripod thing going on.
Oh, here we go, Tasteless. Pulls back, wants him in a choke.
Oh, this is a bad position here for SOS.
Oh, that was a nice flank with the Zealots there by MyuNgSiK. Continue to move forward. It was a good time warp. Good micro on these Colossus from SOS. Getting as much value as possible.
Picking up that Immortal was beautiful as well.
Yeah, but I don't think that's going to be enough. Tasteless, a flank from SOS's main base here with another Colossus, and it looks like he is going to advance to the round of 4.
You know, it's the same thing over and over. This is Groundhog's Day, the cast, man. Each game is one where MyuNgSiK is just trying to engage, trying to initiate, and it's not even a favorable one that he's going for.
Yeah.
SOS. You don't normally get to the round of 4 by making the right stuff and not making a mistake as far as like a judgment call in a battle. Normally it takes a little bit more than that, but SOS is clearly on another level. MyuNgSiK cannot even compete with SOS.
That's the experience difference, I think. Like SOS he is so cool, calm, and collected. He just played well. You can see MyuNgSiK is a bit devastated. The thing is, he brought good strats. He did play well overall. He took poor engagements a lot.
Yeah.
And that is actually how SOS just 3-0'd him. Like, you know, MyuNgSiK, he's getting there though, and I just hope he doesn't get too down on himself, because the kid has like real serious skill.
Well, you can really feel the emotion here. MyuNgSiK really taking that loss to heart. I respect that. You know, you put all that hard work in, and it comes down to this one moment, and you know we don't always succeed in those moments. But you know what you do when that happens is you next day you go back and you try again.
Yeah.
And MyuNgSiK is going to be in the next GSL Code S.
That's right.
He got to round of 8.
Yeah.
So his story will not end here.
SOS is like a real possible winner of this GSL. Of course, he's always a possibility of a winner in any tournament he plays in, but his PvP has been so on point. And, you know, like his next round could be a PvP, and the finals could be a PvP.
Yeah, absolutely could be.
What happens when SOS has won $500,000 through PvP alone? What happens then, Tasteless?
It's quite a story, man.
That's when you hang up the mouse right there.
Hang up the mouse. I mean, not much else to say about that series, really. SOS was better in every way. Obviously, it's sad to see how upset MyuNgSiK was after that loss, but there is always next season.
Well, yeah,
his rivalry with SOS continues.
Well, I think it's a pretty one-sided rivalry at the moment.
You know what? Rivalry is not the right word.
His getting
the nemesis
bashed by
is still
SOS
there.
continues.
The losing record gets bigger.
Yeah.
So we'll be going to an interview, I believe, now with SOS.
Should be.
See what his thoughts are now that he is the first player to move on to the round of 4. That's just one best of 5 away from going on to the finals of this GSL.
That's right. Our next match, of course, can be Parting versus Bjell. Whoever gets out of that against SOS should be a lot of fun. I wouldn't mind if we just get like PvPs all the rest of the way, man. I love the matchups.
I mean, PvP is really interesting right now, and we have a lot of very different Protoss players duking it out. So
that's very true.
I thought that series was going to be closer.
I did too.
I really thought
I did too.
It was going to be back and forth. But
SOS does that sometimes when you think things will be close.
Yeah.
It's like, no, it's not.
Our player who's got a 3-0 victory is SOS.
와, 3대 0입니다.
Congratulations, he says thank you.
4강에 진출하게 됐는데
Wow, so you got a 3-0 victory here in the semifinals. How do you feel?
힘들 줄 알았고 이렇게 쉽게 이길 줄 몰랐는데.
It was a PvP mirror match. I expected to have a very hard match, but it turned out to be easier than I thought.
1세트
I can barely believe it that I won 3-0 this quickly.
김유지 선수에게 조금 소극적으로 플레이를 하는 것 같더라고요. 1세트를 이긴 게 큰 것 같은데 1세트 어떠셨어요?
1세트 제가
So the first set was obviously very important. What did you think about the first set?
네.
상대 선수가 더
I went for the 4 Oracle build.
살짝 불리한 느낌은
The
있었지만
Proxy Oracle build, excuse me.
제가 전멸 추적자랑 예언자가 있어서
I think MyuNgSiK did a good job harassing me early with his Oracle.
생각했었어요.
네,
I actually thought I was at a disadvantage in that game, but then he went for that all in, and I was just able to defend it, and that was all it was.
2세트에서는 심리전을 거는 모습도 보였어요. 2세트도 좀 설명을 들어볼게요.
우선 제가
Can we talk a little bit about the second set now?
네.
추적자 찌르기도 생각하게 만들고
네.
상대방을 좀 서로 안전한 빌드로
So I went for the 2-gate
선택하면
rush.
제가 프로브가 많아가지고 운영할 때 괜찮아가지고 선택한 것 같아요.
And we went to the macro game after that. I just knew that I had more probes than him, so I just continued to mine more resources from there. And I knew they had the advantage with the probe lead early on.
오늘 3대0으로 깔끔하게 올라가게 됐습니다. 자, 앞으로 8강이 이제 또 다음 상대가 원희석 선수와 한지원 선수가 만나거든요. 만나고 싶은 상대 있으세요?
So next you'll be facing up against either Parting or Biel. Who would you prefer to face? Well, both players are very good.
최대한 치고받고 힘들게 싸우고 올라왔어요.
I hope that they have a really tough match today. I hope it goes all the way to Game 5.
자, 김유진 선수.
And I don't really have any
자,
preference.
오랜만에 4강에 올라가게 됐습니다.
He'd rather play
자,
party.
하식스컵 이후로는 사실 GSL에서는 좀 아쉬운 모습이었는데 자, 이번에 정말 또 좋아하셨잖아요. 조금 전에. 어떠세요? 많이
So now you're back in the
결승 가고
semifinals.
싶으시죠?
It's been a long time.
제가
You probably really want to go into the finals now. How do you feel about that?
조심하고 그래서 광탈할 때도 있지만 광탈 안 할 때는 항상
You know, I'm a very emotional player.
이번에 아마 그 시기지 않나 싶어요.
네. 자, 롤러코스터.
But if I get into a good rhythm, I tend to do very well in my matches. And I think my rhythm's pretty good right now, so I think I can do better
깔끔한 경기를
this season.
보여주셨습니다. 앞으로 이제 각오 한마디 들어보겠습니다.
우선 4강 갔는데 4강에서 만족하면
Well, guys, I'm now in the semifinals. I won't be satisfied by just staying in the semifinals. As a pro gamer, I want to move on to the finals and become the champion of the GSL. Well, he very well may. Our
I would
toes
love for him to pick up the Code S. Because he's like one of those players where they're so successful and so well respected and so good, but they don't have a GSL Code S title. And that's like the title to have. So,
well, he might get it. Coming up next, what should be a bit of a closer best of 5. We're going to have Biel against Parting after the short break.